So, just another normal day. You have a little browse through Facebook, looking at some of the Fs1e pages, and then all of a sudden, you come across this. First glance, just a normal Fs1e. Second glance, what the hell engine has that got? Turns out the engine was from a Yamaha YL1, commonly known as a twin jet. And that was it. I was hooked. The only problem was the bike was for sale at Newark Auto Jumble and I was sat in Stourbridge. So I get on the phone to a couple of lads that I know were at the Newark Auto Jumble, only to find out it had been sold. So that was that. The dream was over. But crazily enough, around about 6 weeks later, while training in the gym, the bike came up on an eBay classified. So with one phone call, the dream was back alive. So in this video, I'll show you how I took this beat up Fs1e and my dreams to make it this. Unfortunately, being new to YouTube and not recording the restoration process itself, I can only take you on this journey from where we stand now. So, with loads of things left to be done, let's crack into the video. So, the engine fitted to this bike is from a Yamaha YL100, or also known as the twin jet. It's a 97cc parallel twin, pushing out a very impressive 9.5 brake horsepower at 8,500 RPM. Top speed on the standard is around about 65 mile an hour. So given that it's got the two expansion chambers, that should push it up another 2 brake horsepower per pipe, which should push us into the sort of 13 horsepower plus mark. It has exactly the same gearbox as the Fs1e, so it's a 4-speed gearbox. But as far as engines go, the actual look of this, it just suits the bike so well. Such a cool looking engine. The original down tube was re-chromed, so that's an original fitment at the front there to the YL100. The engine itself has been totally rebuilt. So it's had new bearings, new seals, completely stripped down, engine casings, blasted, glass beaded. So beautiful finish. So moving on to the expansion chambers. I think you agree, they look quite cool. The pipes were on the bike when I actually first brought it. So I've used everything I've already had, but I've got the transition to the down pipes a lot better. Also on the end there, those end cans were added on, which is 40mm OD tube, and the ends have been machined so they'll take the circlips and the baffles, as you can see there. All in all, very pleased with the pipes. Those re-chromed, beautifully re-chromed, absolutely stunning finish. As you can see there, those original down pipes. So it just gives it that YL100 look at the front. Okay, so moving on to the paintwork. So this is a 3-stage candy. So you'll have a metallic silver, which is your first base coat, and that will be followed by various coats of the candy to take it up to the shade of an original panel. Candy is obviously coat dependent, so depending on how many coats, the deeper the colour gets. So that's been matched to a new old stock panel. As you can see, rear shocks completely rebuilt with the bottom section re-chromed. The Fs1e decals going onto the panels. If any of you have noticed, that's another fuel tap. So on the actual fuel tank itself, I welded in an additional fuel tap so I could feed the two carburetors with a tap each. So just a nice little feature of the bike. So yeah, just dropping the ramp down a little bit so we can see the tank over the top. Here you look at the seat, and I was actually lucky enough to get hold of a new old stock early seat, which are like incredibly rare. So beautiful logo. So it's the early seat with the stainless steel thin trim. No bracket on the underside. It would have had the two dampening rubbers. So the front mudguard there, that's an original front mudguard that I had re-chromed. So you always get a really, really nice fit to the tyre. And on that mudguard as well, it's got the original cable retainer. Moving on to the rear mudguard. That's an original rear mudguard that's been converted from a 3-hole over to a 4-hole. So what I did, I even added the support brackets, which you'll see in just a second. So if you look just inside there, I added those support brackets. And also on the wire tunnel, I added the extra spot weld to make up the 6 spot welds, which they would have had originally. So the wheels there, you'll see. So on the outer edges, they're basically mirror polished and then scotched back down. On the inside, they're a glass beaded finish. On this particular front wheel, it has at the minute got a pattern rim, because initially when I was building this bike, I was just going to do it as a rider, and it's now turned into something a little bit more serious. So that rim's got to be changed. Looking at the rear wheel, it's got the original tab washers holding the sprocket on there. All the original bolts and nuts on the end, the proper machine nuts. The actual finish on the hub, again, polished on the outside. And then on the inside, that nice glass beaded finish. Exactly the same with the brake plates. This back wheel has got the original rim. So original spokes, and there's the Araya logo that you're looking at just there. The front and the rear tyre, they've both got the IRC tyre. As you can see, IRC. Stunning finish to the hubs. All the brake mechanism and everything's all connected up. So what I've actually done with this bike is I've kept the rear end of it all as an Fs1e, but the front end is basically exactly the same as FS1 ED. So the ED was the 1975 first disc brake model that was produced by Yamaha. And so this bike's got absolutely everything matching exactly the same as what the ED is. So just dropping the bike down a little bit there, you can see it's got the new old stock switchgear, new old stock perch, new old stock Yamaha ignition. So you can see the bar clamps there, all polished up to the original finish. rebuilt master cylinder that's been refurbed. You've got the throttle assembly there with the correct little spacer. Those are original 9-rib gaiters. And it's got the Koto new old stock front lens. So that hose there, that's a 2-part hose, which was only fitted on the early 75 ED models. Wasn't on the later DXs. So obviously a lot of alterations have had to go into the frame to take this YL100 engine. The bolt there on the left hand side, taking the brake light switch, that one there, that is just basically a dummy, and that one on the right there is the proper engine mounting bolt for this engine. So the frame had to have plates welded to the side to widen it. So that was all welded in, and then it's been scribed to the engine casings. If we look on the other side, you'll see it's got more width. I added these tubes to form an internal airbox. So because there wasn't enough room for the carburetors to sit with something like pods, I had to make an internal airbox. So that gives you a pretty much good idea of what's going on with this bike. Obviously, there's a lot of bits and pieces that I'm showing now which have got to be done. So the cover for the magneto has got to be done. Also, the front caliper has got to be rebuilt. Hoses will all have to be connected. So, with still quite a few things left to be done on the bike, I'll be including all this into my future videos. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Obviously there'll be more to come. Please subscribe, help grow this channel. And I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching.